Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to lesson 15 of MindUP. It's pretty crazy that we are doing lesson 15 already and that we are digital learning through this lesson, but I am excited for everything that we have for you today. So this lesson is actually going to be in two different parts. Our first part will be you guys watching this video and then doing some brainstorming. And then hopefully when we are back together, we will be doing the second part of this lesson, which involves some planning and some action. So lesson 15 builds on lesson 14, where we talked about kindness and the positive impacts of being kind and generous to your community. And in this lesson, we take that a step further and really dive into what does it mean to take mindful action in the world, and why is this a good and positive thing for us to do? So the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, what is mindful action? So mindful action can be done by an individual. It also can be done by many individuals or a group of people. But mindful actions are purposely planned activities that create a healthier, happier world and set an example for others to follow. So you might say that mindful actions take our acts of kindness to the entire world. So just small acts of kindness, but when we put it all together and we plan activities for mindful actions, we take that and set, these are like acts of kindness for the world. So an example that you can think of is Mrs. Shaw and her Recycle Rangers, where they gather recycling. That is a mindful action on a school level. Those are purposely planned activities. She gathers recycling every Friday morning with groups of students to help her out, and that is creating a healthier, happier world and sets an example for all of us to follow with recycling. So that's what we're thinking about today, is mindful action and why it's good for us, what does it do for us, and what we can do to kind of step into that mindful action role. So the first, or another question we need to ponder is, what does mindful action have to do with the brain? Okay, so I've got this picture here. I'm wondering if you can see what is going on in this picture. So we have this individual here. She's crying. The picture above here is crying. And this picture here is of this friend crying, but there aren't any tears on his face down below. And here is why. This is all about mirror neurons. So mirror neurons are a kind of brain cell that allows our brain to imitate the actions of others and also feel what others feel. We can kind of see and sense, we can feel the emotions experienced by others. Mirror neurons are really helpful in understanding the power of connections and how we build relationships and understand each other. So our mirror neurons work because when we see someone get hurt, like for example, when we see someone stub their toe, our pain receptors in our body kind of react or maybe flinch when we see someone stub their toe. Or when you see someone fall and land really hard on their hands and knees, you might get a kind of sense in your own body. You might be able to understand how that person physically feels. And that's because we have these mirror neurons. Another example of mirror neurons is when we see a mother gently rocking a baby, or when we see someone like helping someone up, or helping maybe like sing a song to someone to help them feel better, our amygdala relaxes. And this is really cool because we know in all of our lessons we've done so far, the amygdala is that kind of security guard, always on the lookout to see what's going on in the world around us. And we know it's really important to relax that amygdala so that we can function in a really good way. So our mirror neurons help our amygdala relax when we see like calm, good things around us. Our mirror neurons help us to understand emotions in others, like pain, joy, and fear. And it's so cool that we have this ability in our brain to understand what someone else might be feeling. So in this picture, right, we've got this girl and she's crying. And this friend, even though he's not crying, he knows what it's like to be sad, right? He knows that experience of crying. So it really helps us build empathy and connection with people. So, what does this have to do with our acts of kindness and mindful action? So, when a group works together in a positive way, whether that's picking up trash or recycling, cleaning the community, working together or volunteering on a project, or gathering items that the community might need, whenever a group works together in a positive way, especially if nothing they're doing really benefits them, our feelings of kindness, our levels of dopamine, that neurotransmitter that helps us feel really good, right? All of those things multiply and grow. This makes kindness contagious. There have been studies by scientists that show that people who belong to groups that focus on kindness and service have higher levels of dopamine, more empathy, and more compassion. So, this means that as we engage in acts of kindness, we are rewarded for it emotionally. We feel good about doing those acts of kindness, and our desire or need to be kind becomes a deciding factor in our choice of words and actions. So we want to be kind, so we do kind things and we say kind things. So that's pretty great. So now we head into our brainstorming. So we need to come up with a game plan for our mindful action, what we are going to do to make our community or to serve those around us. We're going to take some mindful action. But before we can really create that game plan, we need to decide what we're going to do. So I'm going to have each class come together with a thought for how you want to do this. Okay? So think about mindful acts of kindness that you think would make a difference for a lot of people, whether that's a class at your school, a group in the community, or a group in need far away. Okay, so I want you to think about how we as a class or a school can make a powerful impact for another group in our school, a cause that is important, our neighborhood, or even across the country or across the world. So how can we as a group make a powerful impact for others? The next question I want you to think about is, what are some problems nearby or far away that you've heard about lately? What actions might help? So I want you to add your concerns for the world and ideas for actions to the Google form I've included. And think about projects we will have control over and we can manage. So right now, for example, coronavirus and COVID-19 is a really, really, really big concern for the whole world. But as like Grant Elementary, we can't necessarily stop that just by ourselves. So we might not have control over the whole world, but we might have control over what our families and our community does to make it a little bit better for us. So think about what we have control over and what we can manage. And when we come back together, we'll work on narrowing this list down and voting on one project that we can work on when we get back together. So I want you to go into the Google form, write down some thoughts and ideas you might have, and then we will move forward with creating a game plan for our mindful action when we all return. In the meantime, everyone, please let me know how I can support you and what you might need from me in your digital learning. I hope to see all of you soon and know that I am thinking of you often and miss you tremendously. All right, my friends, we'll talk to you later. Bye.